Okay, I want to get back to Fernando because he did everything all weekend. It wasn't just like, he had a good game he had a great game last night. And those guys in the booth and ESPN, they were falling all over themselves talking about him. I mean, they were talking about him before he ever led off. That was a great interview. Manny talking about Fernando. Manny's at the top of the dugout. Fernando's back, kind of waiting to get to the on deck circle. That was great. We got some great national pub. I love it. But more than anything else, we're playing great baseball. The Padres are playing great baseball. But Fernando, going back and recapping his weekend in Houston, he may not want to leave. 1 for 4 on Friday night, a walk, a run scored. Then Saturday, 2 for 4, his 7th homer of the year, a run scored, and his 7th stolen base. Sunday, 2 for 4, a walk, a triple, his 8th homer, 3 runs scored. Scored them all on Sunday. For the series, Fernando was 5 of 12 with 2 walks, a triple, 2 homers, and 5 runs scored. Getting the job done. Getting the job done. And I'm looking at his numbers. And I was on with Paul Rudy this morning on KUSI at about 7:40, and they were talking about Fernando is in the running for the National League Most Valuable Player. Well, after 21 games, folks, let's pump the brakes a little bit. Because we know the only thing that's going to keep Fernando from putting up these unbelievable video game numbers is injuries. And he's had a lot of injuries. Knock on wood that he's going to be able to play at least 145 games. That's been my whole deal. Play 145 and let's get the pen and pencil out with a piece of paper and let's add up his numbers because they're going to be off the chart. I mean, this guy's got as much talent as anybody in baseball. He just got to stay on the field. 21 games, he's hitting 358. You know what was surprising to me? He's got one double. But he does have 8 home runs, but 1 double, a triple, and the 8 homers. He's got a 436 on base percentage right now, a 691 slugging percentage, and an OPS of 1128. 8 homers, 16 RBI, 7 for 7 in stolen bases. Now here's a great stat. Nowadays, guys always strike out more than they walk. And so far, and this is where Fernando Tatis Sr. comes in, said you got to be more selective. You got to be looking for certain pitches in certain situations. So far this year, Fernando's walked 12 times. And he struck out only 12 times. That's awesome. Because that's not the norm in Major League Baseball now. Guys normally strike out a far higher percentage than they do walk. So right now he's at 50-50. That's awesome. So I can't sing the praises of Fernando enough. Okay, my thoughts on Dylan Cease. And, it's more not numbers. It's watching him. I thought he pitched better the other night. I said this last year, and I definitely say it this year. Dylan Cease, there's no middle ground with him. He is normally really good or he really struggles, and then he gets frustrated and he tries to overthrow, and he ends up going from bad to worse. I thought he did a really nice job Sunday night. I thought his slider was good. He didn't give in. He went 5 innings. Yeah, the pitch count probably a little bit high, but he's getting there. Now, if he can take what he did in that start against the Astros Sunday night and bring it back next weekend against Tampa Bay, now we got a guy maybe getting on a roll. He's getting a little bit closer. So we'll see where it goes. Okay, I want to get to Martin Maldonado. Going into the game Sunday night, the Padre catchers had been 0 for their last 21. 0 for 21. That'll make guys drink. Okay, and I don't want to scare anybody into drinking, but when you're a major league player and you guys are struggling, that was between him and Elias Diaz. Martin Maldonado and Elias Diaz going to the game Sunday night, 0 for the last 21. Well, Maldonado had 2 hits on Sunday night. In fact, he could have had 4. He hit the ball hard 4 times against his former mates, the Houston Astros. And I thought he did a good job. There was 1 or 2 balls that got by one in particular, I thought he should have blocked. He tried to backhand, and it ended up costing him. But so far, Martin Maldonado has actually swung the bat pretty well. And him and Elias Diaz have actually done, I think, a pretty good job. Maldonado right now hitting 257. I'll take that. I mean, I would take 220 because he's had a hard time hitting over 200 the last several years. Now, I expect a little more offense out of Elias Diaz. Now, the other guy, and we'll see about a rise. If they have to put him on the concussion protocol list and test him for 7 days, I'd be interested to see if they'd bring Luis Camposano up. Camposano's swinging the bat really well down in AAA, hitting 387 right now, 5 homers. Swung the bat very, very well. And at some point, he's going to push his way back onto this roster. I know people are going to want to talk about Yuli Gurriel, 1 for 3 on Sunday night, made a great play. I mean, that was a hell of a play he made with 1 out in the ninth. Cam Smith, that good-looking young right fielder for Houston, smoked one. There would have been at least a double, if not triple, with 1 out in the bottom of the ninth off of Bob Suarez. And Gurriel made a fantastic play. Not a lot of first basemen. In fact, left-handed first baseman would have probably had no chance at that ball. They'd had to reach across their body. But Gurriel, really good, even at 40 years old, he's still a very, very talented defender. And he got a hit, and he walked. And again, I think his roster spot is probably a little bit on life support. And when you start seeing guys come back from injuries, you may see some changes. I could see a few changes as the season goes on this roster. There's no question about it. But overall, the catching's been pretty good. I can't complain. We thought that was going to be a real problem, and to this point, it really hasn't been. Those guys have done a good job. They really have. And Diaz is a pretty good hitter. He'll get going, but they were kind of in a little bit of a slump. But a good night by Martin Maldonado.